about that some other time. But today, we're talking about something really very important. We're talking about something really most expediently important. We're talking about something that might change the course of the history of the Shekiri people. There are controversies, there are facts, there are traditions that must be upheld. And a lot of persons are going to say, well, it can war. I think that's where we are getting it wrong. It is not the news to everybody that the traditional institution of the Shekiri people is deeply rooted in Benin. And as such, Benins have, to an extent, an opinion when things are going wrong about the dictates of the selection process of who the next Olu of Warri will be. It is in that regard that I wish to categorically state it clear that this live video is meant to put my opinion, which I believe is the general opinion of the Edo people, on this very matter. I've received countless of calls since yesterday as regards the true extent of the controversy or the imbroglio that is currently bedeviling Warri Kingdom. And I had assured everyone that I was going to come live by this time, right now, to give the true picture of exactly what has transpired and to correct the fallacies that is currently being propagated by some Ishekiri people who have not turned the selection process into politics. They have gone viral on the social media space to label some certain Ishekiri nobles bad in order to conjure sympathy from the public. But facts are going to be labeled based on the edits of 1979 that dictates the modus operandi of how the selection process of the Olu of Warri should be. There were attempts that was made by previous Olus to subjugate or subvert the original edits that was promulgated in 1979. We must understand clearly that the selection process of the Olu of Warri is not the only process that is guided by laws and custom and tradition. Benin, for example, is also being guided by the same edits, only that our own is less complicated, unlike the likes of Warri that still undergo sort of what I would call royal line sort of selection process of choosing who becomes the next Olu of Warri. Benin's own are quite straightforward, are plainly straightforward. Let me not use the word quite straightforward, but what we must understand is that there were times where the process also required selection in Benin Kingdom until we had to straighten the complexity of all these things, and we realized that primogeniture is of less rancor in the process of choosing the successor. We have understood that a long time ago. But it is an act that was promulgated during the time of Olu of Warri. I've said constantly at times in my programs that there are two promulgated acts of succession in Benin Kingdom. The Olu of Warri promulgated act and the Olu of Warri promulgated act. These acts, probably now called edicts, have now become an integral aspect of our tradition that guides the succession of every kings of Benin. So the edict of Olu of Warri is also meant to guide. It's also meant to guide who becomes the Olu of Warri. Now, edicts can be changed, but it cannot be single-handedly changed by the king himself. It has to be changed by the king and the top players of the kingdom. So, in other words, if the Oba of Benin now decided to say that if Olu of Warri the second says that he wants to change the succession of who becomes the succession of the Obas of Benin, he will not single-handedly take the decision and say that the first sons of the Obas of Benin will no longer be the Obas of Benin based on some certain reason A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Now, I wish to now state categorically clearly that from henceforth, the second son of every Oba of Benin will not ascend the throne. He cannot single-handedly take that decision. He will take that decision with, most importantly, the elders, which in one of my videos flying called the Uzama, which are the elders of Benin Kingdom. He must sit down and an oath must be taken at Enimidu. And a totem of authority, which the Beninese call Isemeriwo. That is the stamp of authority. Now, there is an Isemeriwo, a totem of authority that must be stamped on it. Until that is done, the edict remains valid. So, Olu Atuwase the second, the Olu before the last Olu, made an effort to change the edict that was promulgated in 1979. The effort that he made was single-handed, and it was not accepted by the Warri people or the Warri, the team player of Warri Kingdom, and as such does not stand. Now, I'm going to give you the lowdown. There is a controversy of who succeeds. It is not in my place to announce whether there is a death of any Olu of Warri. The tradition permits only the Olobosere to announce the death of the Olu of Warri. So the program is not intended to break the age-long tradition of the Shekiri people. No. I'm not here to decide for who becomes the Olu of Warri. I'm not here to tell the Shekiri people who becomes the Olu of Warri. That they can decide upon, but they must 100% follows the edict that was promulgated in 1979. And I have already seen the controversies ravaging the internet, and I wish to correct some of the young guys who does not understand how some of these things works, because they have a very myopic idea of how traditions or edicts becomes tradition, and these are the traditions that eventually will guide the concept of what becomes the custom of the land. So I'm going to take us through this class, and from this class we cannot decide whether some of all these Facebook guys are propagating is true or not. And they said you should go to court. At the end of the day, they should go to court if court decides it, which is wrong. Why would you take the matter of tradition to court? Customary court to decide when it is very clear. I'm going to read the edits. Now, I have, in the past 2 days, I have taken time to study the edits of the succession of the Olus of Warri, and I discovered that some sections of Warri people are intending to desecrate the laws that were stated by their forefathers for whatever political reasons. For whatever political reasons. And it is in our place as Benin people to tell them what must be done so as not to breach the concept of the edit. It is very clear. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it to the viewers so that you can understand the consequences of the actions that some of the people, some Benin people reached out to me and said that they didn't know that it's going to come in this format, and I told them that it is not about Olu in Kembuli is a patron of Association of Great Benin Descendants, where I'm the coordinator general. So I am by extension affiliated and by extension connected to the Olu of Warri. Aside being my father as the royal father who understands, who accepts his origin as a Benin man. I hope some of us have seen the video where Association of Great Benin Descendants wanted to make him the grand patron of Association of Great Benin Descendants. He refused. He refused vehemently and said, I cannot be the grand patron of Association of Great Benin Descendants when my father, the Oba of Benin, is still on the throne of our forefathers. He accepts, he understands, he publicly understands his affiliation to the Benin throne, and he reveres the Benin throne. I ended on Agbeba because he publicly has accepted that the Oba of Benin is his father. Not the Oba of Benin, not the occupant, not Oba Warri the first, the second, but the throne. Whoever sits on the throne becomes the father of any offshoot of the Benin throne. It's a common sense. And that is what Olu in Kembuli acknowledged when we visited him sometime November 18, 2019. It was quite pathetic that coronavirus happened and we could have seen him in a couple of times because we could have learned a couple of things. And now there is an obligation on me that is heavy burden on me, that some people who want to use the social media to subvert the truth must be called to book, and they must be educated based on the edits that was promulgated in 1979. What Mavish wishes to say, what Mavish wishes to declare at the end of this segment is not of his own accord. We understand there are forces from Yoruba extract that wants to subvert, because the Shekiris of present times now see themselves as more Yoruba than Benin. That is correct. But we must also now tell them that the Shekiris are not Yorubas. They might be a branch of Yoruba, Yoruboids, but they are the most integral aspects of the Shekiris are the Benin people. The nobles, the Ojo, they call them the Ojoyes, the 17 sons of the 70 chiefs of Benin. What do you do to them? Do you want to Yorubanize them? Because there's an history that they left in 1480 AD. Do you want to Yorubanize them? Do you want to Yorubanize the Okere people that was founded by the Benin warrior Ekmenede? Do you want to Yorubanize them? So there is nothing, the Shekiris are not purely Yoruba, it's an amalgam of Yoruba, Benin, Igala, and some even sections of Ijaw, and even Urobo. So, so you cannot give the credence that Ishekiri is a Yoruba ethnic group. No, couldn't have been. What happens to the integral aspect of the Ishekiri people that are Beninese? Do you want to expunge them? If you want to expunge them, then expunge the throne as well, because the throne and the nobles is of Benin origin. So we're gonna get there. Now, we want to open the edits. Some of us, you might have seen the edit. I want to open it on my laptop, and I'm going to open it on my laptop now, so that we can read and follow. So it's going, this is edits, okay? This is edits, okay? So I'm going to be reading it one after the other, so that we can use it to deliberate our points on how the matter be. So why use these edits to explain how the matter be. Now I will read. Declaration made under Section 8 of the Traditional Rulers and Chiefs Edits 1979, stating the customary law regulating succession to the title of Olu of Warri. I'm reading now. I'm going to take it again. Declaration made under Section 8 of the Traditional Rulers and Chiefs Edits 1979, stating the customary law regulating succession to the title of Olu of Warri. Now, Edit 1. Listen, so that we can get it very clearly. Edit 1. There is only one ruling house in Warri known as Jinua the First. So Jinua was a Benin prince that founded Warri Kingdom. That one, I don't want to go. So, in other words, the first stage is a sequential steps. So you have to qualify from step 1 to be able to qualify for step 2. You have to qualify for step 2 to be able to qualify for step 3. You have to qualify for step 3 to be able to qualify for step 4. And you have to qualify for step 4 to be able to qualify for step 5. You have to qualify from step 5 to qualify for step 6. Step 6 is what some of the propagandists are anchoring their lies upon. And I'm going to bust the bubble in the next few minutes. So we are going to take it together. The Edit 1 simply states there is only one ruling house in Warri known as Jinua. So in other words, for you to be qualified as the Olu of Warri, you have to be a descendant of Prince Jinua, who is the son of Obaolua of Benin Kingdom. That is Edit 1. Now, anybody can qualify. You can have 10,000 of the population of Ishekiri that will meet up with that criteria of coming from the Jinua ruling house, because they are the sons of different princes along the line. So 10,000, 20,000 can qualify for the position of coming from the ruling house of Jinua. Assuming there are 20,000 of the Ishekiri population that qualifies to come from the ruling house of Jinua, then Edit 2 is meant to further screen and reduce the numbers. Look at what the Edit 2 said. Succession is limited to Olu's company, which they call the Otolus, that is this descendant of these last 3 Olus. Now, I will read and I will explain. The descendants of the other Olus who are previously reigned are known and referred to as Omajaja company. Ordinarily, succession passes to a son of a demised Olu, failing which to a suitable member, falling which to a suitable member. Sorry, calls are coming in. Falling which to a suitable member of the Otolus, provided that brothers are preferred to uncles and uncles are preferred to grandsons, and grandsons are preferred to the other relatives within the Otolus. Females are absolutely bad. So we are in edit 2. I want to explain. Now, there are 2 categories of the successions. One is called the Olus Company, while the other one is called Omajaja Company. Now, the first company, called the Olus Company, is that if you are qualified from the Edit 1 for coming from the royal house of Genoa, now the second qualification is that you must belong to the Otolus. That means the last 3 Olu. In this case of discussion, you have to be related. You have to be the son or the uncle or the grandson of Olu Ikenwoli, the immediate past. You have to be the son, the relative of 2 immediate past called Olu Erejuwa the second. No, is he? No, Olu Atuwase the second. Now, and the third, which is Olu Erejuwa the second. So, the sons, the children, the relatives of Olu Ikenwoli, Olu Atuwase the second, Olu Erejuwa the second can contest for the Oluship. So the first edit says that if you belong to the house of Genoa, you can contest. You can't be made. No, let me not use the word contest. You can't be made the Olu of Warri. Now the second edit now is now streamlining it, that it is not all the Olus, it is not all in the house of Genoa that can be made the Olu of Warri, but rather the house of the last 3 Olu of Warri, which is Ikenwoli, Atuwase the second, and Erejuwa the second. These are now the 3 that must contest, that it is from these 3 that the choice of who becomes the next Olu of Warri can be made. That is the edit. Now the edit number 2 furtherly stated, let me read. Ordinarily, succession passes to the son of a demised Olu. So that means the edit number 2 places more emphasis on the immediate past Olu son. Places more emphasis on the immediate past Olu son. Please, let us follow this conversation. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I've learned so much. Tomorrow I become an authority on the succession plan of the Olu of Warri because I took time to study it, and I want Benin to be understand how Olus of Warri succeed. This is an avenue for us to understand. All right. So when you now qualify of you being related as the sons of the immediate past 3 Olus of Warri, in this case Ikenwoli, Atuwase the second, and Erejuwa the second. Now, but the edit number 2 went further to say succession passes to the son of the demised Olu. All right. He said ordinarily succession passes to the son of a demised Olu. So that means the edit gives more credence to the immediate past Olu. So in this case, there is already a favoritism. The first son of the immediate past Olu has already been favored. Basically, we have to understand this idea. Let nobody cajole anybody. Now he now furtherly went to say that falling wish to the suitable member of the Otolus, provided that the brothers are preferred to uncles. Now, the hierarchy of preference is that should in case the sons are not qualified, and I will tell you from the edit 3 or edit 4, you will know what disqualifies the son. If the sons of the immediate past Olus are not qualified, so that means the brothers is the next in line of the past Olu that can qualify. After the brother, the next in line is the uncle, and after the uncle, the grandsons. So these are the preferences. The order of preference is that when the Olu is late, his son is preferred to become the Olu of Warri. Should in case the son does not meet with the criteria, then his brother, when he mean that is not the brother of the son now, is the brother of the late Olu, is preferred to become the Olu of Warri. If the brother of the Olu of Warri is not qualified, then it has to be the uncle of the Olu of Warri. If the uncle of the Olu of Warri is not qualified, then it has to be the grandson of the Olu of Warri that will be qualified. This is the sequential order. Now, we have now understood how it is being sequentially based. Then let's now go to edit number 3. Completely said. It said the Olu of Warri summons a meeting of the members of the ruling house to the palace, Agbofen, specifically to choose a successor. The meeting is presided over by the oldest man in the ruling house, following which by the Olarebi or Olorebi. All the sons of the demised Oba and the members of the ruling house below the age of 18 are excluded from this meeting. All right. Now, edit number 3 talks about the process at which the choices has been made. So it is the Olu of Warri now that will now call a meeting that includes members of the ruling house. Now, the demised sons of the Olu of Warri are exempted from the meeting because they don't want to predate or give them a clue of who becomes the next Olu of Warri. Now, let's now move to edit number 4. This edit number 4 is very interesting. It's even the essence why I'm doing this live video. The edit number 4 quickly states, to qualify a candidate, plural or singular, mother must be an Ishekiri or of Edo origin, and his father must be an Ishekiri. Definitely the father is already an Ishekiri. Now, he said, to qualify a candidate, there are 2 things. The mother of the candidate must either be an Ishekiri or an Edo origin. Origin in bracket. We should put that in bracket. Origin. It's either Edo or Ishekiri. Origin. Now, if you have qualified from the edit 1, coming from the house of Jinowa, and qualify from edit 2, coming from the house of the past 3 Olus. Now, if there were 20,000 Ishekiri sons that has qualified from edit 1, then edit 2 will further scrim it, probably reduce it to 1,000. For example, reduce it to 1,000. Then, after which, from that 1,000, edit 4 wishes to disqualify more candidates. So, out of 1,000 that have been qualified from the 3 houses of the Olus, now they will now say, which of you has an Ishekiri or Edo mother? Come to the left. If you don't have either Ishekiri or Edo mother, come to the right. Simple. This is what the edit states. There is no magic. This is what the edit states. So if you qualify, if your mother is either Edo origin or Ishekiri origin, it therefore means that you can move to another screening committee. I don't understand. Every single processes are forms of relationship to the other. It is a sequential process. If you don't pass number 1, it's just like me being Imason Amowe Ezoduwa as a Benin man. I cannot contest to be the Olu of Warri because edit 1 simply states that I have to come from the ruling house of Jinowa. I don't come from the ruling house of Jinowa. Automatically, I'm disqualified. Okay, and I eventually qualified as the ruling house of Jinowa. But the last 3 Olus are not my father. I'm not related to them. So automatically, I'm disqualified again. That's the concept. Now, if I now eventually also qualify that the past three Olus, I am one of the sons or related to the past three, either as a brother, a grandson, an uncle, or as a son from the past three Olus, I'm now qualified. Now, then I will now move to Edit 4. And the Edit 4 now simply states that if my mother is of Shekiri origin or Edo origin, move to the next level. Move to the next level of qualification. Now, that is where there is a problem. There is a particular prince called Shola Emiko that are being propagated on social media that is the one chosen by the gods to be the Olu of Warri. That Prince Shola Emiko does not meet with the criteria of this number 4 because his mother is neither Shekiri nor Edo, but the mother is Yoruba. So automatically Edit 4 disqualifies him. Do you get the picture? I don't know who becomes the Olu of Warri, but the one that they are propagating on social media that should be the Olu of Warri, Edit 4 disqualifies him. And if Edit 4 disqualifies him, he has no local standing to participate in Edit 6. I'm going to read that now. I'm going to read Edit 5 and read Edit 6 so that you know that Ojoro, they are doing Ojoro, they are politicizing it, and the Benin must stand up to tell them that there should not be politics about what was written and was written so clearly. You understand? Because there are some Yoruba forces who wants to force Prince Shola on the Shekiri people. This is not about Izodowa. This is not about whether people hate Ayiri or anybody. I don't like Ayiri. Agberu nihi. Agberu no. I don't like Ayiri. But the point is that I have studied. It is not my informations based on my argument I'm presenting. It's not from anybody. It is from what I have read here that is very visible. If you want the edits after this live video, I will send a copy to you. It is what is very visible. Now, Edit 4, I've already stated it. Then Edit 5 states, the oldest man of the ruling has presented candidates selected to the Olu Gbosere, who in turn presents him to the Olu Advisory Council made up of the Olu Gbosere. Alright? The say the one with the Ojomo, the Oshodi, and the maximum of 2 other joyous titled noblemen whose presence in the opinion of the Olu Gbosere is essential. Now understand what Edit 5 is saying, that having met with all these criteria, that is, what are the criteria now? You come from a direct lineage, you are a descendant of Jinua, the first Olu of Warri. You are a descendant of the last 3 Olus of Warri. These are the criteria, these are sequential. And your mother is either Edo or a Shekiri. Then, if you are now, it's not 1, probably 50 could have met all these criteria, or 10, let's assume 5 met these 3 criteria. The first criteria is that you are from the direct descendant, you are a descendant of Jinua, you are a descendant of the last 3 Olus, and your mother is either Edo or Shekiri. Then, if you now have these 3 qualifications, then you will not be presented. You all, it could be 5 of you, it could be 10 of you, it could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 10, it could be 20. You will now be presented by the oldest one of the ruling has presented candidates selected to Olu Gbosere in turn presenting. Now, of all this, all right, you will not be presented to the council. You will not be, the elder will not be present. He will not present these people or this person. Okay, you will not present it to the councils of the chiefs in which Olu Gbosere presides. Now listen to Edit 6 so that you can get it clear. English is good, but it confuses a lot of people. Look at what the Edit 6 said. He said, at this stage, this is how the Edit 6 stated it clearly. Say, at this stage. People may go school, wanna understand what that means. At this stage. Meaning there were stages before that stage. So that means there were processes that mitigated to that stage. So Edit 6, which some of these people are propagating as lies. Now he said, at this stage, Ifa oracles are consulted. The oracle must agree on the choice, following which the selection process is repeated until a candidate acceptable to the oracle is selected. The oracle's decision is final. The stage at which the oracle will decide is the final stage. So there must be stage 1. You must pass stage 1. You must pass stage 2. You must pass stage 3. You must pass stage 4 before you get to this stage 5. Do you get? If you had failed in stage 1, you don't have any business. You don't have any business to participate in stage 6, where the oracle will not choose you. It is like if you are not the first son of the Oba of Benin, you cannot be the Oba of Benin. So it's like a second son of the Oba of Benin said, okay, they want to do oracle. They went to do oracle and oracle not chose you. Oracle cannot choose you in Benin because you are not the first son of the Oba of Benin. If you are the second son, you have the process already has disqualified you before. You die or bono fiayo the Oba on my dono. It's a simple analogy. Stage 4 disqualified Prince Shola. Now disqualified him in 2015. I think one of our brothers just stated that. Disqualified him in 2015. So the stage that disqualified him in 2015 can no longer pass him in 2021. You understand? He's disqualified because he did not meet with the stage 3, which is his mother must either be a do or a shekiri. Now look at what his father, this Prince Shola, that they are all clamoring to become the next Olu of Warri. Look at what his father tried to do. I'm going to flip here and show you what his father tried to do. That is Olu Atuwashe II. All right, this is what his father. It is only in the case of succession that this is where I'm reading for. Okay, I wanted people to see so that they know where I'm reading from. All right. It is only in the case of succession to the throne, which is from father to son, or where there is no son, it could be to a brother or nephew whose father had been the son of an Olu, that there is this strictness that it can only be on the account of his father and not the mother. Even then, the mother must be Shekiri, Edo, or Yoruba. Now, Olu Atuwashe knew that he made a fundamental mistake by allowing a Yoruba woman to sire his first son for him. And he knew that automatically when he passes on, because it was a Yoruba woman that sired Prince Shola, Shola will stand disqualified. He tried to edit 4 of 1979. Do you get? He knew he had made that mistake. So he was trying to not edit by adding Yoruba to it, because his wife that gave birth to his first son, Prince Shola, is a Yoruba woman. So he tried to edit it. But like I've said, for you to tamper with an already existing tradition of the land, edit becomes tradition. Like I gave a very good example of the Atoro oath. Before Obaye Wakbe came, if for some of you do not understand the Atoro oath was an oath promulgated, an act of succession that was promulgated by Obaye Wakbe and the Ejon, where thought it was agreed that the kingship will be passed from the son, from the father to the first surviving son. The chiefs also requested something from the Oba of Benin that before Obaye Wakbe, in case you don't know, the Benin practice a rotational kingship. In case you are not aware, the Benin practice a rotational kingship. Before Obaye Wakbe, those Aenzai, Akenzai, Akengboi, Oriogene, Ewakbe, and Ahekbaye, the 6 of them, they were rotated amongst the the ruling house. At the time, the Benin has 5 ruling houses. Yes. So when he now got on the Opaiwakbe, because he was not trained to become the king, he messed up the throne. That was the difficulties he had as a Oba. So when he eventually went after the sacrifice of Queen Eden, the kingdom was not stabilized. Then he needed to ensure that every next incoming Obas must be well groomed. Because the reason why he messed up as the Oba was because he was not groomed. So he had to ensure that he didn't do it because he wanted the succession to be passed from him to his children. No, that's not why Obaiwakbe wanted it to be promulgated. He wanted it to be promulgated because he knew, because of the lack of experience that he had about kingship, made several mistakes that made Benin dealt with him ruthlessly. So he didn't want any Obas of Benin to go through that process. Instead, he now said that after the father, the son has to be the next Oba, because before he now becomes the Oba, once you know this is the next Oba, he will be trained and groomed in the ways of what makes him an Oba. So an oath was promulgated. At that time, every inheritance of Oba's chief on the demise of the chiefs must be claimed by the Oba of Benin. And the chiefs now said that for we to allow you to promulgate that will become to remain in your family forever, you must also ensure that when we die, our children will also inherit our properties. And that law was called an atoro. That edict was called an atoro. It was done at Eimidu, and the Oba took the Isemereiwo. We call it Isemereiwo. It's a totem of authority. If Oba decides on anything, Isemereiwo, that it is final, it has been sealed. Now you must understand that Olu of Warri did not do that. So that means whatever written here by Olu of Warri is invalid. What was the councils of the meeting? Which of the chiefs, which of the shrine of Ishekiri land did this was agreed upon? Edicts are not agreed alone by the king. So it remains invalid. So because he knew the mistake he made, and that was why he now tried to include Yoruba in order to create an avenue for his son to become a legitimate candidate for the throne. Now because of this, Prince Shola Emiko was denied the throne in 2015, and it was who was favored, the younger brother of Olu of Warri, who now became Olu Ikenwoli, was favored. Because Olu Ikenwoli himself, his mother is of Edo origin. So now, what disqualifies Prince Shola in 2015 can no longer disqualify him, because they said, from the rumors I gathered, was that there was a Portuguese woman, there was an Olu that had a Portuguese woman, Antonio Domingo. We know that. At the time Antonio Domingo became the Olu of Warri, there was not edits. There was no edits of guardianship of. It's just like before the time of Oba Esige, every Oba's mother must be killed before their son can ascend the throne. It was a law, but it was Oba Esige that changed it. So at that time of history, there was no such law. At this time of history, there is such law. Until such law is changed, it remains valid. That is my argument. Now, another argument that was brought is that Ishekiris are not Yorubas. I've said it in the beginning. Ishekiris are not Yorubas. If you say Ishekiris are Yorubas, what about the Benis in the Ishekiri? Have you Yorubanized us? What about the Okere Jew? I was in one of their festivals 3 years ago. Have you Yorubanized them too? So, Ishekiris are not Yorubas. Alright, some Ishekiris are Yorubas, but not all of them. Not all of them. So, this is the basics of our argument. So, from these findings, can we now see? I want to read Edit 6 again. It said, at this stage, if our oracles are consulted, the oracle must agree on a choice, following which is the selection process is repeated, or failing. So he said the oracle now will now agree on the shares. No, the most important point you must understand is at this stage. That means if you had qualified from stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, that is when you will now get to the oracular stage. In this case, Prince Shola has been disqualified by edit at stage 4 or stage 3, which simply states that until your mother, if your mother is not Edo, of Edo origin or Ishekiri origin, you are disqualified. So it has no bearing. Those ones that people are not saying that it is him that the oracle chose. How can an oracle chose a traditionally disqualified candidate? It's like it's like losing in the quarterfinal stage. If, for example, now they beat Nigeria team say Nigeria team was knocked out in quarterfinal, then you can't hear say Nigeria now go play final. If they knock Nigeria come out for quarterfinal, then Nigeria now go play final. So if they knock Nigeria come out for quarterfinal, then you can't hear say Nigeria go play final. How would you feel? Not be Ojoro. So he has been disqualified at the quarterfinal. He has no reason to participate in the final because he has already been disqualified. It is not a qualified candidate. It's only the qualified candidates that can now be choosing out of all the qualified candidates that have passed through all the stages 1, 2, 3, 4 that the oracle will not choose from, not that which was disqualified. And so let them not deceive you. All right, Prince Shola Emiko does not have a local standing to be chosen by the oracle because his mother is Yoruba and he is disqualified. Izoduwa haven't said Izoduwa tie. The ancestors, the unknowing wise ancestors of the Shekiri people wrote. That's where I'm reading from. So they should not be propagating fallacies. This is the truth. This is the truth. No, it's not Biafra. Biafra does not have handwriting. This is Yoruba or Duduwa people that has an handwriting on this matter. Matter na kind of Igbo now. How does that? Is Igbo trying to propagate their Duduwa ideology on the Shekiri people? We are not saying that the Shekiri people should not embrace their Yoruba whatever, but we are saying that while you are embracing it, take the throne of Benin from your equation. The throne is of Benin extract. And I heard that some Ishekiri is now saying that paternally they are from Ife. The matter of Oduduwa Ikalade are not considered Ishekiri people. In the first place, the Yoruba stock that makes up Ishekiri are from Ilaje and Ijebu. Ijebu people are never, the origin of the Ijebu people are never connected to Ife. They are connected to Sudan. Everyone is aware of the origin story of the Ijebu people. It's never connected to Ile-Ife. So move and leave that. So let's not overflog this matter. I've been able to make my point. If there's any Ishekiri people, if you share this video to the Ishekiri forum, let them counter what I have said. Let them counter what I have said from the edits. From the edits. Can the Royal House of Benin intervene? That ordinarily the Royal House of the Benin is supposed to intervene because the Royal House of Warri is an offshoot. I just told you. After now, I'm going to post on this forum the video where we visited the Olu of Warri, where he said that that is his father, where he regarded, he referred to the Oba of Benin as his father. Is that why he was killed? Is that the majority of the people who now carry the whole Yoruba ideology hated him because he acknowledges his ancestral home? Was that why? Is it now that they want to deny his son of becoming the Olu of Warri because they feel that he will also be affiliated to Benin, his ancestral home? Rather now they want to now affiliate. Let me say this. Let me say this. Why did the old elders, the elders of the Warri, ensured that the mother of the Olus of Warri must either be Edo or Shekiri. It has happened in Benin. Let me ovation. Let me unveil one. I tell you, when you come to my front, you go home with one secret of Benin history or the other. Let me knock you one secret of Benin history. After Obaewa the first lost his 2 children at the same day, Ezuwara and Koboyuwa, he had difficulty giving birth to other children. And I fear, and I value na do me be Obaewa the first of Gidigan na uno na bie. Then I told the oracle now told him, go and look, go and look for a direct descendant of Ogiso like you. Ye only hear those zema so that one do nege unita. Ihani na bu onawe the only way ne why hire me bado bie no ya gwale ohu no vio giso anagele agwale a direct descendant of Ogiso Irebo. Bana mi ohoni ana mi ohoni udo enie na rae omuwa. There was an Ihas crossbreeding. And he has crossbreeding so as to maintain 100% blue blood. It is the same application that the Shekiris are using by maintaining a tribal connective blood of either a Shekiri or a Do, and not mix it with the foreign blood of Yoruba. Wisdom is profitable to those who understand. That's what happened during Obaewa the first. There was an inbreeding. There was an oracular divination that stated it clearly that for you to sigh, you must go back and marry from within Uwegbewe. And Omona Mieni Anatie Lady Omuwa, who now eventually became Queen Omuwa, he gave birth to 2 Obas. He's the only queen mother to have given birth to 2 Obas. Oba Ezoti and Oba Zoluaniba Omiekon. The same mother being Eva. And Egbe Okpa Enyabe Obaewa Ekiri. Oracular divination. That's the same oracular divination that has guided them that it has to be only a Do and a Shekiri mother that can. That is why Prince Shola, in order to avert the mistake his father made, married a Benin woman. And the Benin woman he married is the daughter of Captain Osa Okumbo. I've been reliably, it's in the public domain. This Prince Shola that asked that the edit disqualifies married a Benin woman because he knew that. So in other words, if everything being equal, that means his son, Prince Shola's son, if he size a son from the marriage between him and a Benin woman, that son can have a legitimate claim to the throne of the Olu of Warri and not him, the Prince Shola. Because at that time, if a son is born by the Benin woman, it will now become a Benin mother. And even if another Olu of Warri comes in, he still will fall as a son of the last 3 Olu. At that time, Atuwashe will not be first amongst the last 3 Olu. So Prince Shola still have a hope of his son becoming the Olu of Warri, but not him, because his mother is Yoruba. But if his son's mother now will not be Benin, So it will qualify him to rightly contest to become the Olu of Warri if they will allow the edit. This is not Dagbo, it is clear. It is clear. For some of you who are requesting for it, I will send it to you. It's on my page on Facebook. Go and read it. It is clear. So so Captain Osa Okumbo is a Yoruba man. I say a Yoruba man. So what should I my brother? So when I was told about that, I told him that the Benin agenda is bigger than any Benin man or woman. This is clearly the Benin agenda. The Benin must ensure that the interest of ensuring that the truth of how the succession about Warri Kingdom is maintained. It concerns us. It is not our concern how they choose it, but our concern should be chosen rightly by the laws that have been created. So if the new Olu of Warri now comes in, if the new Olu of Warri now comes in and I decide to say I want to change it, I want to include Yoruba, we will also come out and protest against it. But if it follows the right channel, it becomes an edit and becomes okay. Is there any question that was asked that if the Oba Benin doesn't have a son? No. It is a prophecy. I'll look for my article that I wrote 3 years ago. The prophecy of Obaewaye that never fails. Iyi. It is a prophecy that Uwu Kobaye Daeken. So there must always be a successor from the Oba of Benin. It's a prophecy that was made by the greatest Oba of Benin, Ewai Ogidigan, and to date, Uwu Kobaye Daeken. So there must always be a successor. In other words, every Oba must always have a son. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I've invited you all to this segment to give you this whole facts finding, and then do not listen to the charades. I will await all these Facebook Ishekiri amateurs to reply me, and so that I can bomb them again next week Sunday. Our fight should not be about insults. Our fight should not be about is a bloody liar. Our fight should not be based on that. Our fight should be based on the edits that was presented. This is where our fight should be based on. And we must read, we must follow this edit to the latter. You cannot obey one and disobey the other. You must follow it to the latter. Otherwise, there will not be any room for tradition. If you obey one and disobey one, there is no need for any of them. You understand? So we must follow it to the latter. So that's what we are saying. I don't have any choice of who becomes the Olu of Warri. But what I have said is that the guy they are presenting as Prince Shola Emiko has been disqualified by the edits, and he should be remained disqualified. None of the chiefs should be cajoled. The chiefs of Warri should stand firm and protect the tradition of the land. No matter whatever blackmail, history will remember them. They could not blackmail the chiefs of Warri in 2015, wherefore Prince Shola was disqualified because he had a Yoruba mother. And I see no reason why any of them should be afraid now in 2021. The same law that disqualified him in 2015 is still hale and hearty, and he remains disqualified now in the next succession, in the next succession. The only person that will not be qualified to contest, like I've said, will be his son and not him. I don't even know any of these people. The concept Mavis, you all carry the matter put for head. They say Mavis carry this matter put for her. I'm only concerned about what should be done rightly. Some of the Uzaman, they are Oliyas, they are some of the sons of the Eluya. There is Ezomo. They are not classified as Uzaman. There is Oliya, there is Ezomo, there is Iyase, there is Ologbose, there is Oshodi. The 70 sons of the 70 chiefs of Benin form the integral aspect of the Shekiri. They are still the nobles. That is why the most important segment of the Shekiri is commanded by the Benin, the nobles and the royal line, as well as the warrior line, which is the Okere people, who are warriors. The Iviek Benede, Iviek Donyahi. So having said that, I think we are closing now. I want to thank all of you for participating in this segment. My programs are once in a week, 7:30 p.m. every Sunday. Let us all come. Let us learn fact. Let us learn history. I'm sure that with this, it's an eye-opener. We already now know how every Olu, the processes that qualifies every Olu to become the next Olu of Warri. So sorry I didn't read other edits. There are edits 7 to 10. I didn't read all that because all those ones talks about the burial rights of after the Olu would have been chosen by the final stage by the oracle. You understand? Then the other ones are he has to go to Ijala, where he has to do an Iken, a Deniken, a festival that of the burial of the Olu until that burial is done, where he has to pass about 3 months in the Ijala. I think it's called Ijala. Ijala, it's the burial place of all Olus of Warri. That's where all the Olus of Warri are buried. So any incoming Olu of Warri has to go spend three lunar months. That is 90 days. Lunar months. Is it lunar? No, it's not 90 days. Lunar months is 28 days. 28. I think less than 90 days. That's 2. That's 6 out of 90. That's 84. Has to spend like 84 days in that Ijala forest where all Olus of Warri are buried. Where all Olus of Warri are buried. And after which, if it's out after the Olu of Warri have been buried before the coronation process cannot start. These are basic. These are the other ones remaining from stage 7 down to stage 8. But the most important one from stage 1 to stage 6 talks about what should be done before the Olus of Warri are crowned. And like I've said before in the beginning, they are now trying to anchor that, hey, Prince Shola was chosen by the oracle. How can Prince Shola would have been chosen by the oracle when the edit has already disqualified the oracle? You cannot lose in quarterfinal and now go and play final. If you have lost in quarterfinal, you have lost. You are going home direct. So how will you have lost in quarterfinal and now you are not playing final? That's Ojoro now. So we are saying that they should not bring Ojoro into the Warri throne. All right, let them give it to that which is due. Let them forget about the politics that Ife or probably the Oni of Ile-Ife or Ife people are trying to orchestrate in Warri. Benin are here. We will not allow any one Yoruba chief priest to now be orchestrating kingship that is an offshoot of Benin. We will not allow that, and that's why the video was done. So I'm not doing amebo. I'm not doing any amebo. I'm just telling the truth. I didn't do any amebo. The Warri throne belongs to the Benin people, and let all the Ishekiri revisionists. I know they have been trying to revise that blah 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 that the Benin throne came from Ife. That one not concern Ishekiri where the Benin throne came from. But what we know is that Ishekiri throne came from Benin. So where Benin came from or where Benin throne concern does not concern Ishekiri. The matter now between us and Yoruba will settle it. All right, it don't concern me. Shekiri are supposed to be spectators, but what we can tell them is that see the year una found that come from Benin here. That one is sure. We know that. So I don't. So why we say? So I want to appreciate all of you for being programmed. So I thank all of you. So 7:30 next. I've already answered that, Prince Godfrey Fregin. I've already answered that. It doesn't matter where an edit was constituted. People should understand the edits that guides Benin throne, and the edit that guides Benin throne was done in the 18th century. Just about 300 years ago. The Benin throne has been existing for more than 2,000 years, but the edit that now guides the succession is the edit that now guides the throne of the Oba of Benin was done about 300 years ago, and the throne has been existing for more than two. So in other words, Bayewakbe was what, I think 27th Oba of Benin. If it was the 27th, I can't really remember. 27 plus 27, that's 26 Obas before him, and 31 Ogisos. That's 26 plus 31. That's 50. 26 plus, I think, no, Bayewakbe was the 26th or 27. So 26 plus 31 is 57. So there were 57 Obas. There were 57 Obas that had existed before an edict that now guides the Benin throne was created. So I don't know whether you understand. So it doesn't really matter when the edict was created. Once an edict was created, the edict remains so until it is edited or it is reviewed. Let me use the word reviewed. In this case, Olu Atuwase, I already said, maybe you just came in, my brother. Olu Atuwase tried to review it, but improperly. He tried to review it, but improperly. Who was it promulgated? Was it made a law? Was it made a law? No, he wasn't made a law. If it was made a law by Olu Atuwase, then why was his son disqualified in 2015? It's a common sense now. If that law, you now say that Olu Atuwase promulgated and changed by including Yoruba, is true, then why was his son disqualified in 2015? You should answer that one. Why was his son disqualified in 2015? So if his son, after the law done by his father was promulgated, was disqualified a few years later, then in 2015, then are you not telling me that the son will now automatically be qualified? Look at it. If the law that was promulgated by his father did not work in 2015, why should it work in 2021? Common sense. That means the law that was promulgated by Olu Atuwase was not properly done. It was dagbo. It was dagbolized. So if an edit, if that should be reviewed, it has to be properly done. The edit that was upturned, that Olu Atuwase the second tried to upturn, is invalid. If it was valid, it would have qualified the son of becoming the Olu of Warri in 2015. If it disqualifies, if he couldn't qualify a son in 2015, it has no reason to qualify a son in 2021. So that's a common sense. And I've also answered that Yorubas are not Ishekiri, because what makes up Ishekiri? Yoruba groups, Edo groups, Igala groups, they are still Ijo, and all that. So if you say Yorubas are Ishekiri, what happens to the Edo groups inside? Like the royal lines of the Ishekiri, the Okereju people, that's the Okere people, then the 17 sons of the Ojoyes, what you people call the Ojoyes. What happened there? Are they not Benins? Have you people not converted them to Yoruba? Yeah, leave matter for matter, Sabi. You people should allow that which the edit favors. Do not dagbo. As far as I'm concerned, the 1979 edit remains authentic and standing until proven otherwise. So otherwise, this topic we should allow it rest. Prince Shola Emiko, I don't know him. I don't know any of them. All I know, Prince Shola Emiko. Don't also forget, he's married to a Benin woman. It doesn't fucking qualify him. It's his mother that would have qualified it. So in other words, take this message to him that he should relax. His son, if he give birth to his son might not have a legitimate claim to the throne of Olu of Warri because Prince Shola married a Benin woman. Simple sense. So I haven't said that. I will rest my case. Waya worship. I thank all of you who has been following my program. 7:30 next Sunday. We'll be here live to talk about other very interesting topics. So Waya worship or Baga talk by I took time. It was okay. Would he retire Ashawo? We'll talk about that later. Whether Oba is direct king of Ugame is direct king of economic growth. So we'll talk about that much later. So thank all of you. So I hope we have been able to learn some facts. So let us all go, spread it, share it, and spank all these people that are propagating lies on social media. Oba talk by all. It's all right. Thank you very much, including you, retired Ashawo. May you never go back to Ashawo. You said amen. May you never go back to Ashawo because you are already in a tag. Okay, we have heard you, retired Ashawo. Obewa whatever.